How much of a salary difference was it?
It's so big that my friends all thought I was having a nervous breakdown when I
Really?
told them I was going to be an assistant coach.
So you go to Princeton, you're two-time Ivy League Player of the Year while you're there. You end up getting drafted by the 76ers. You're cut before the actual season starts, so you go to Europe, play basketball there professionally for a couple of years, and when you come back, you have interest in getting into coaching, yet you talk to your coach, the
Coach
legendary
Kirill.
Why, and he was vehemently opposed to
me coaching.
Right. Why was he so discouraging?
Well, and it wasn't anything malicious. So let me state that right out.
And this was who coached you at Princeton, right?
Coach Kirill coached me at Princeton. Recruited me. He and my dad were different people, but they reminded me of each other. He loved my dad, and when I came back from playing. And the reason why I wanted to go into coaching was my team in Europe, my coach there was a Pete Carrill fan. So he allowed me to implement some of the Princeton offense into this pro team. And I had fun teaching the game, coaching the game. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to be a coach. And I'm coming back from England on the way to stop off to see my sister and to talk to Coach Carrill and tell him, hey, Coach, I want to be a coach. And he said, you don't want to be a bleeping coach. What do you want to stick with basketball for? You're from the south side of Chicago. You got a Princeton degree. You play enough basketball. Go do something else. I ended up going back to business school and gravitated to the sales and trading side of the investment banking world and was having a great career. And so that was about 8 to 10 years after I came back from playing. And then once I realized how people in that industry were retiring at 45 or 50, that's when I thought, okay, now if I can do well enough at this job where I can pay off my student loans, I can pay off my mortgage, I can pay off my cars, then my exit strategy is going to be this. I'm going to teach 7th grade and coach high school basketball.
Why was the financial work unenjoyable for you?
Well, don't get me wrong, it wasn't unenjoyable. What it was that, when you grow up poor, and I won't say, when you grow up with not much money, because I don't consider myself poor. I felt very enriched in different ways. But when you grow up with not much money, all you think about is having money will fix everything. And being able to work at an investment bank and make more money than my dad ever made in very quickly, you do what guys who never had money do. You buy things. You get the car you wanted, you buy a house, and you go on the vacations you thought you'd want to go on, and you put your kids in private school and all the things that you think are going to help them get ahead. And then I realized none of that made me feel any better or worse about myself. It wasn't fulfilling. So after you're riding around in the car always want it, then you start worrying about people bumping into it and nicking it. And it's like, oh, this is dumb. And so it's just one of those things that I wasn't uncomfortable with it. It just wasn't my thing. And I knew there was something else out there that I would actually love doing.
And one day, your college coach's assistant, who's taken the head coaching job at Northwestern, calls you up. You're, at work midday at your finance job, and offers you an assistant coaching job at Northwestern.
Right.
Take it from there.
So I've left Morgan Stanley to go work at a smaller boutique type firm and sort of run the corporate finance area. So it's a bigger job and it's exciting and it gives me some new challenges. But I still in the back of my mind have this exit strategy of, 15 years from now I will be teaching 7th grade and coaching high school basketball. So I'm nowhere near the finish line. I mean, I couldn't stop then and do it, otherwise I would have. Well, Coach Carmody, who was an assistant at Princeton, gets the job at Northwestern. He calls me up and he says, Craig, how you doing? I'm like, Coach, I'm doing fine, great. I am so happy that you got the job. He said, good, but I'm not calling about that. I'm calling to see if you want to come join me. And I say to him, and the way to understand why I did this, I'm still sitting in a trading room. So there's somebody sitting right next to me on all sides. And if you walk into a trading room, you can't tell who the boss is and who the secretaries are, because everybody sits together and you need to for information purposes, sharing information. I said to him, Coach, let me call you right back. And I hang up the phone. I tell my partner, listen, I got to go out for a minute. I take the elevator down, get in a cab, and I said to the guy, just drive around downtown. I got to make a phone call. And I call him back, and he's offering me this job as an assistant coach. And I can't believe this, and I'm like this in my other career, and I'm at a point where to leave now means I'm leaving a lot on the table. I mean, let's put it this way.
You're 37 years old at the
Yeah,
time.
I'm 37 years old.
Late in the game too.
Yeah,
to
it's
make
late. I mean, everybody starts out as like the director of basketball operations or a grad assistant, or when they get right out of college or get done playing. And I all this stuff is going through my head while he's trying to talk me into taking this job. And I said, let me think about it, but I really am interested. And the biggest thing is, for me, I'm worried about going from making a lot to making a little, because I've got 2 kids and I'm going through this divorce.
How much of a salary difference was it?
It's like a tenth. It's a lot and a little. I mean, it's just not even close. It's so big that my friends all thought I was having a nervous breakdown when I told them I was going to be an assistant coach.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if I remember correctly, like high 6 figures versus mid 5 figures.
Yeah, 50 grand you're making. Yeah. 50 grand you're making. And I said to him, I'll call you back tomorrow. So there were 2 things I did. Since I was going through a divorce, and my kids were young, my 2 oldest kids were young, but they were smart, and I didn't want to, it felt like their lives were getting shaken up anyway with the divorce, so I wanted to sort of run it by them before I said yes.
So how do you ask an 8 and 4-year-old?
So first thing I said to him was, listen, Daddy's getting a new job. And my son immediately says, are you moving away? And I said, no, I'll be here. As a matter of fact, I might be able to spend more time with you guys. And they said, what is it? I said, well, I think I'm going to coach basketball. And my son was thinking, and you could see the wheels turning, the steam coming out of his ears. And he said, does this mean your office is a gym? And I said, well, not exactly. My office isn't a gym, but my office is right next to the gym. And then almost right on top of me saying that, my daughter, who was 4, said, do they have a pool there? And I said, yes, they do. And then she was like, great. And so this huge weight lifted off of my chest, because I was thinking like an adult, thinking that they had some clue as to how different their lives were going to be. They had no idea. I mean, to them, how much money I made wasn't a big deal. It was a big deal to me,
right, vis-a-vis
them. But once I got the buy-in from them, it was easy. Then I went and talked to my partners. And
how did you resign?
I just told them, look, you're not going to believe this, but I just got an offer to be a basketball coach, and I think I'm going to take it. And my partner who ran the firm was like, are you sure? He's like, I'm going to leave your position open for about 6 months in case you want to come back. And I was like, look, that's great, but I don't think so. I think this is what I want to do. And they were great. And that was the end of my business career and the start of my basketball career.